Good habits are not formed by chance. They are built by force, not the kind of force that breaks you, but the kind that shapes you. Every person who succeeded didn't wait for perfect timing or endless motivation. They built routines and forced themselves to stay on track, even when they didn't feel like it. That's the truth you must accept if you want to change your life. Consistency ain't glamorous. It's waking up early when you're tired. It's showing up when no one is watching. It's doing the work when you have every excuse not to. But understand this: success doesn't come to the most talented. It comes to those who show up every single day. The small things you do daily matter more than the big things you do occasionally. Forget about being perfect, just be consistent. You don't need to be extreme. You need to be steady. Discipline beats motivation, and consistency beats intensity. Force yourself to be consistent, not because it's easy, but because your future depends on it. You can't build anything great with occasional effort, but if you stay consistent, even when it's hard, you will create results that others only dream about. Keep showing up. That's the secret. Consistency is the foundation of progress. It's not about doing big things once in a while. It's about doing small things every single day. When you show up consistently, you begin to build something powerful that most people overlook: momentum. And momentum is the silent engine behind every successful journey. Momentum starts quietly. It doesn't come with loud applause or visible results in the beginning. In fact, it often feels like nothing is happening. You work hard for days, maybe weeks, and you see no difference. But that's where most people give up, right before the momentum starts to build. Consistency is about pushing through that silent phase where the effort seems bigger than the reward. And that's the test. Each time you repeat a task, you get a little bit better. The first time, it's awkward. The second time, it's slightly easier. By the 10th time, you're more confident. And by the 100th time, it becomes a part of you. That's momentum. It's built through repetition, through persistence, through showing up regardless of how you feel. Think of momentum like a snowball. At first, it's small. You roll it slowly and nothing much happens. But as you keep pushing it forward, it gets larger, it gains weight. It becomes easier to roll because it starts carrying its own force. That's exactly how progress works. In the beginning, your actions require energy, but later, your habits take over. You don't have to think, you just do, because the momentum is now working for you. This is why consistency is more important than intensity. You can be intense once or twice, but if you don't keep going, you'll stay stuck at the starting line. One workout won't change your body. 1 hour of study won't make you an expert. 1 day of hard work won't make you rich, but one workout a day, 1 hour of study every night, one smart decision repeated daily, that creates a force you can't stop. The longer you stay consistent, the more momentum you build, and the easier the journey becomes. Momentum also sharpens your focus. When you're consistent, you don't waste time asking, "What should I do today?" You already know. Your process is set. Your routine is clear. That clarity reduces mental fatigue and allows you to put your energy where it matters most, into action. You don't need to hype yourself up every morning. You just follow through. That's the hidden power of consistency. It takes the decision-making out of your hands and replaces it with automatic progress. Another thing momentum does is protect you during tough times. When life gets hard, and it always does, your habits become your safety net. If you've been consistent for long enough, even your worst day will still move you forward. That's because you've built a system that doesn't depend on your emotions. It depends on your commitment, and commitment doesn't disappear when you're tired. It holds you steady when everything else feels like it's falling apart. Consistency also compounds your learning. Every day you show up, you learn something new. It might be a small insight, a tiny mistake you fix, or a skill that improves by just 1%. But over time, those small improvements add up. This compounding effect is invisible at first, but over months and years, It separates the average from the excellent. While others look for shortcuts or quick results, the consistent person quietly builds mastery. In addition to personal growth, consistency builds trust not just with others, but with yourself. When you show up every day, you start believing in your ability to follow through. You stop breaking promises to yourself. That self-trust is one of the most powerful forces you can develop. It gives you the courage to aim higher, to take risks, to endure discomfort because deep down, you know you'll keep going. Motivation is often seen as the spark that gets you started, but the truth is, it's unreliable. It comes and goes, changes with your mood, and disappears when things get uncomfortable. Discipline, on the other hand, is steady. It shows up when motivation doesn't. If you want to succeed in anything, whether it's business, fitness, learning, or personal growth, you can't rely on how you feel. You must rely on what you've decided. And that's where discipline becomes more powerful than motivation. Motivation is emotional. It's influenced by your environment, energy levels, even the weather. You watch an inspiring video, read a quote, or hear a story, and suddenly you feel like doing everything. But that feeling fades. That spark dies the moment life pushes back, when you're tired, when you fail, when results don't come fast enough. If all you have is motivation, you'll quit when things stop being exciting. But discipline doesn't need excitement, it only needs a commitment to action. Discipline is the ability to keep going regardless of mood, environment, or obstacles. It's waking up early when the bed is warm. It's going to the gym when your body aches. It's studying when your friends are partying. It's choosing long-term rewards over short-term pleasures. Discipline doesn't care how you feel in the moment. It holds you accountable to your goals, even when the fire of motivation has burned out. And that's what makes it stronger. A motivated person will take action when the path is smooth. A disciplined person will keep moving even when it's hard, boring, or uncomfortable. This is why discipline builds resilience. You learn to do hard things not because you want to, but because you must. You stop negotiating with your feelings. You stop seeking permission. You stop waiting for the right mood. You just do the work because it needs to be done. Discipline is also built through repetition. It's like a muscle. The more you use it, the stronger it gets. Every time you act when you don't feel like it, you prove to yourself that you're in control. You silence the voice that says, just skip it today, or you can do it later. The more you override that voice, the more disciplined you become. And the more disciplined you become, the less dependent you are on motivation to move forward. There will be days when motivation is completely absent, when you feel drained, overwhelmed, or uninspired. That's where most people stop. But the disciplined individual moves anyway. And that movement, that commitment to action regardless of emotional state, is what leads to breakthroughs, because results don't come from occasional effort fueled by fleeting motivation. They come from daily effort built on unshakable discipline. Discipline gives you structure. It creates systems that remove guesswork and emotional friction. When you're disciplined, your actions are scheduled, not based on impulse. You follow a routine. You have standards, not wishes. This structure becomes your foundation. It keeps you grounded when distractions pull at your attention. It protects your goals from the chaos of daily life. Another strength of discipline is that it forces you to take responsibility. When you're motivated, it's easy to say, I'll do it when I feel ready. But discipline says, do it now because it matters. You stop blaming external conditions, and you start owning your time, energy, and focus. You develop the mindset that success is your responsibility, not a lucky result of inspiration striking at the right time. Discipline trains your mind to obey your purpose, not your mood. It teaches you consistency. It forces you to take small steps, even when the finish line feels miles away. It allows you to build character and habits that last. Motivation can only start the engine, but discipline keeps the wheels turning. When the road gets steep, the journey gets long, and the destination still feels out of reach, Perfection is one of the biggest lies that holds people back. So many never begin because they're waiting for the right time, the right skills, the right tools, or the right level of confidence. But the truth is, those things don't come first, they come after you start. That's why the most powerful mindset you can adopt is simple. Start ugly. Don't wait to be ready. Don't wait to be perfect. Begin exactly where you are, with whatever you have, and commit to getting better each day. When you start ugly, you accept that progress matters more than perfection. You accept that your first try won't be your best, but it will be your beginning. The first time you write, speak, sell, build, record, or perform, it may feel awkward, messy, or even embarrassing, but that's the price of growth. Every expert you admire today once struggled through their own first ugly version. They weren't born skilled, they became skilled because they started early, stayed consistent, and kept improving. Starting ugly isn't about being careless, it's about being courageous. It's about refusing to let fear of judgment stop you from taking action. Most people stay stuck in planning mode forever. They want their work to be perfect before the world sees it, but planning without doing leads nowhere. You don't learn by thinking, you learn by doing. Every mistake teaches you something. Every failure sharpens your awareness. Every flaw reveals what you need to fix. And the faster you start, the sooner you learn. Improvement is not a one-time event, it's a daily commitment. You don't transform in a week. You transform through steady, focused effort over time. And that transformation starts the moment you accept that ugly is part of the process. The first product, first speech, first design, first workout, they're supposed to be rough. They're supposed to feel uncomfortable. That's how you build the skill, confidence, and clarity that only come from experience. Waiting to feel confident before you start is backwards. Confidence doesn't create action. Action creates confidence. Every day you show up and do the work, no matter how messy, it builds belief in yourself. Improvement happens when you push through discomfort, not when you avoid it. You don't get better at something by avoiding the early failures. You get better by facing them head-on and refusing to stop. People fear embarrassment. They're worrying what others will say. But the people who win in life are not the ones who wait to be impressive, they're the ones who take imperfect action consistently. The world respects the person who keeps showing up and leveling up, even when it's not pretty. The courage to be bad at something before you're good is rare. And it's what sets achievers apart from dreamers. The truth is, every master was once a beginner. Every polished product was once a messy draft. Every strong body started with a weak rep. Every business began with an idea scribbled on paper. If you only start when conditions are perfect, you'll wait forever. But if you start ugly, you give yourself permission to grow in public. You allow the process to shape you. You stop chasing perfect and start chasing progress. When you commit to improving daily, you develop momentum. You stop judging yourself by the quality of one effort and start measuring by consistency. You ask, did I get 1% better today? If the answer is yes, you're on the right path. The results may not show immediately, but they are being built with every small action you take. Day by day, the ugly becomes better, the better becomes good, and the good becomes great. You'll never feel fully ready. You'll never have the perfect plan. But when you start ugly and improve daily, you're moving forward while others are still waiting for the stars to align. Progress rewards action, not hesitation. The earlier you start, the more time you give yourself to grow. In a world filled with noise, focus is a superpower. Every day, you are surrounded by distractions, notifications, social media, gossip, opinions, news, entertainment, and endless options pulling you in every direction. And yet, the people who rise above the crowd are not the ones who do the most. They are the ones who focus the deepest. They master the art of ignoring what doesn't matter so they can give their full attention to what does. Distractions are thieves. They don't just steal your time, they steal your energy, your creativity, and your potential. Every time you switch from one task to another, you lose momentum. You break your flow. You confuse your mind. The more distracted you are, the less depth you bring to anything you do. You may be busy all day, but if your attention is divided, your results will be shallow. True growth requires full presence. It demands undivided attention. And that only comes when you decide to ignore distractions deliberately. Deep focus is not natural anymore, it's a choice you have to train. Your phone is designed to keep you addicted. Platforms are built to hijack your attention. But your mind was not made to multitask all the time. It thrives in focused, uninterrupted stretches of effort. That's where real progress happens, when you give one task, one goal, or one problem your complete attention for an extended period of time. That's where breakthroughs are born. When you focus deeply, you start seeing what others miss. You notice patterns. You solve harder problems. You move faster in the right direction. Distractions scatter your power, but focus channels it like a laser. And that laser-like focus can cut through challenges, noise, and competition. It can turn hours of shallow work into minutes of meaningful progress. To focus deeply, you must protect your environment. You can't expect to concentrate in chaos. Create space where your mind can breathe. Turn off unnecessary notifications. Put your phone out of sight. Say no to unimportant conversations. Silence doesn't mean isolation, it means clarity. The fewer things you pay attention to, the more progress you make on the things that matter most. Discipline is required here, because distractions are tempting. They feel urgent. They offer instant gratification. But chasing them comes at the cost of your future. Every time you check your phone out of habit, scroll without purpose, or jump from one task to another, you're training your brain to be scattered. But when you resist that impulse and return your attention to what truly matters, you're training your brain to become sharp, strong, and deeply focused. Focus also builds endurance. At first, it's difficult. Your mind wants to wander. But like a muscle, your ability to focus improves with practice. The more you push through the urge to quit or check something else, the longer you can hold your attention. Eventually, you enter a state of flow where time fades, and your work becomes effortless. That state is where your best ideas lie. That's where real transformation happens. Not when you're half present, but when you're fully there. Ignoring distractions is not just about productivity, it's about power. Power to direct your life. Power to control your time. Power to create work that actually matters. Focus is not about doing more. It's about doing what matters better. It's about quality over quantity. 1 hour of deep focus is worth more than 10 hours of scattered effort. Clarity comes when you strip away the noise. Greatness is built when you tune out what doesn't serve your purpose and go all in on what does. The battle is not between you and your goals. It's between you and every little thing trying to pull you away from them. Success is not about doing something once and expecting instant results. It's about doing the same thing again and again, refining it over time, and pushing through the boredom, the doubt, and the silence. Repetition is the foundation of all mastery. It's not glamorous. It's not exciting. But it works. Results don't show up because you did something extraordinary once. They show up because you did something ordinary with extraordinary consistency. Repetition is the training ground where skills are developed, habits are formed, and confidence is built. The first time you try something, it's unfamiliar, it feels uncomfortable, you're slow, you make mistakes. But when you repeat that task day after day, your brain begins to adapt. You move faster, you understand more, you make fewer mistakes. What was once difficult becomes natural, even automatic. That's the power of repetition. It turns struggle into strength. The people who rise to the top in any field are not always the most talented. They're often the ones who repeated their craft the most. Athletes practice drills thousands of times. Musicians play the same scales every day. Entrepreneurs pitch hundreds of times before someone says yes. Behind every visible success story, an invisible grind built on daily, repetitive effort. The world sees the outcome, but they never see the hours of repetition that made it possible. When you commit to repetition, you develop consistency. You remove emotion from the equation. You stop waiting for the perfect mood or the perfect time. You do the work whether you feel like it or not. That discipline compounds. Each repetition adds another layer to your foundation. It strengthens your mindset, it builds your resilience, and it deepens your expertise. The results may not show right away, but every rep is an investment in your future. Repetition is also how you build momentum. At first, progress is slow. You might not notice any difference. But each time you repeat a task, you're moving forward even if it's just a little. Over time, those small steps accumulate like drops of water filling a jar. They seem insignificant at first, but eventually, they overflow. That's when people start noticing your results. But by then, you've already done the hard part. You've built the habit of showing up and repeating. There's also a mental transformation that happens through repetition. With each repetition, you build belief. You prove to yourself that you can do it. You silence the inner critic that says you're not good enough. Repetition trains your mind to stay focused, stay grounded, and stay persistent. It teaches you to be patient with the process and trust that effort, when repeated, will eventually pay off. Another benefit of repetition is clarity. When you do something repeatedly, you begin to understand the nuances. You see what works and what doesn't. You make better decisions. You stop guessing and start knowing. That depth of understanding only comes from doing, not from reading, not from watching, but from repeating. Each attempt reveals something new. Each repetition sharpens your skill and deepens your perspective. Repetition also prepares you for the pressure of real-world situations. When you've done something hundreds of times, it becomes second nature. You don't panic. You don't hesitate. You respond with calm and precision because you've trained for it. You've seen it before. You've done it before. And that confidence is earned, not given. It's the result of thousands of quiet, uncelebrated repetitions, while others are chasing shortcuts, looking for the fastest path, or quitting because they don't see instant results. You stay steady. You understand that mastery takes time. That results don't come from what you do once in a while, they come from what you do every single day. Repetition and a chore. It's your competitive advantage. It's how you separate yourself from the rest. In conclusion, consistency is not a natural gift. It's a choice you must force yourself to make every single day. It doesn't come from motivation that fades, or inspiration that comes and goes. It's built through discipline, self-control, and commitment to long-term growth. The people who win in life are not the ones who get everything right the first time. They are the ones who keep showing up, keep improving, and keep moving forward even when no one is watching. Consistency builds momentum. It sharpens your focus, strengthens your habits, and transforms your character. You don't need to be perfect. You just need to be persistent. Start ugly, improve daily. Ignore distractions. Stay locked in. Trust the process, even when results are invisible. Every small action, repeated with discipline, brings you closer to the person you want to become. Don't wait to feel ready. Don't wait for ideal conditions. Force yourself to stay consistent in the face of resistance. You'll build confidence. You'll build results. You'll build a future most people only dream about, because in the end, success doesn't respond to how talented you are, it responds to how consistent you are.